Hi everyone, thank you for coming to our Blue Chip Micron webinar. We just wait for more people coming to join us, and then we will start soon. Wait for you. Yeah. Hello everyone. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Janice Young. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Blue Chip. Today, we are presenting to you the latest industry trend and market outlook with Micron solution. And we will also explore how you can optimize your customers' IT budgets, delivering more for less. We are very honored to have CG10, Director of Solutions Architecture Asia from Micron, to have hosting this webinar with us. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during presentations, please type them into the question box in your control panel, and we will bring them up after presentation. And also don't forget, there are prizes to be taken away, to be won at the end of the presentation. So please stay with us. Now, without any further add-ons, let's kick off our session today with CG. Now, over to you, CG.
Thank you, Janice. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sigi. I will be your presenter today. So let's start by looking at the agenda for today. So what I'm going to do today is basically share you a number of things. First and foremost, will be a little bit of intro about Micron, and then the industry trends, and followed by a case study. And we'll wrap up with some Micron solution lineup so that you know what we have and how can we jointly help our customers to maximize their IT budget. And last but not least, Q&A and quiz will follow on. So in today's market, what we see is that a lot of things is actually revolving around memory and storage. As you can see, Micron has been in the market for 40 years. We were founded since 1978. We are number 4 in terms of size around the world. So we have a lot of great products, a lot of great patents that we have actually filed, and definitely a very promising company that can help you or your customers solve the storage and memory problem. So how do we actually do it? We basically have 2 brands, 1 channel. It makes it very simple. As you can see on your top right, we have the Micron brand. So this is a brand that we service the market with our server DRAM offerings, the enterprise class, and the client SSD that meets and or exceeds customer expectation in these segments. And then at the bottom right, we do have our crucial consumer brand that actually serves consumer DRAMs and SSD offerings to all the consumers or SOHO worldwide. So by having choice and single channel, it makes it very easy for customers to access our products and offering. And today, to talk about why is memory so important and how can we help your customers to maximize their IT budget, we will look at the AI landscape. So today, almost everything that you talk about that involves electronics, you see the word AI tagged to it, right? So where is AI today? So from this chart, you can see AI is almost everywhere, right? So they have the very traditional AI in the data centers, whereby a lot of learning, a lot of training or inferences is made. Then increasingly, things is actually moving to the edge, right? We have smart edges and then we have intelligent edge. And why is it so? Because we realize that by sending information to the data centers is not the best solution anymore. because it requires large bandwidth, you require latency requirements so that you can solve the problem rapidly. So that's the reason why the emerging trend today we see is that a lot of things is actually happening at the edge. And what that means is that you need more memory. So for example, you have a speed camera in Australia catching people for speeding, you will definitely have some sort of memory attached to that camera. So the camera will be able to make some decisions, or maybe even to recognize the license plate right on the spot instead of sending the data to the backend for processing. So all these are the changing trend to make processing and to make inferences more efficient. So this is where it's fueling the growth of memory and storage today. And how much and how fast is this memory growing? So from IDC report, it predicts that by the year 2023, there will be close to 100 zettabytes of data being produced by all the data centers and by all the users around the world. So 1 zettabyte is a lot of memory. It's actually 1 billion terabytes. So with so much memory in place, so what can we do to this memory, and how do we effectively store this memory and storage? So as a result, I think efficiency is very important. We need to have a very efficient and cost-effective way to store this data. So that's the reason why customers hope to do more for less. And this is why Micron is in the perfect position to help our customers solve this problem. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that there are also other trends that is happening in the market today, whereby you see that the deep learning is actually evolving. So deep learning today is that something that we are looking at historical data processing, right? So we have a lot of data stored in a historical manner, and then we have the compute to solve those problems and make inferences or make decision after that. And then the other growing trend that we see is in green, whereby we talk about real-time inferences. Like the example I brought to you earlier, the moment data or information is captured, the devices will be able to make real-time inferences. So by limiting sending the data to the backend, it will make the decision more quickly, so that the environment will be able to make an instant decision about what's going on, instead of waiting for the traditional processing in the data center. So these are some of the big trends that's changing or the processing landscape, especially around the AI-driven processing landscape. Then the next thing will be on the tipping point. So what do we see around AI? So AI is now become a mainstream application thanks to a lot of inferences that's happening today. So for example, on the left-hand side, you see that the big data, because there's so much data that's involved, and then definitely it's actually try to break the barrier whereby we can have very fast and deep data availability for us to do a decision. So this is one thing that's happening. And then the second thing will be in the middle about processing power, right? Because I think as processing power increases, I think you are probably familiar with GPU or accelerated or FPGA accelerated processing. This is actually making a lot of more affordable massive data storage for our processing capability, so that our customers will be able to make sense of the data that they have captured, so that they can make useful decisions to all this data. It's just not about storing, it's just about making useful inferences to the data that we have. And then last but not least, with the software advancement, so a lot of algorithm is in place to really do more effective work to the data. So all these are tipping point that we're seeing today that helps our customers to really harness the power of data they have captured to today. So all this actually require more memory, more storage, and then also more compute capability. And how does Micron participate in this area? So in the three areas that you have seen, we have memory that goes into all these three applications. So on the far left, we have very high performance memory or even graphics memory that goes into graphics card from NVIDIA and AMD that helps to do all this model development, batch training that helps us to make a lot of inferences model around the data that we capture. And at the same time, you can see also our storage products be it a TLC product or a non-volatile memory. So these are all the memory devices that we help to power the backend data centers. And then increasingly on the trend that moves towards the edge, for the smart edge or the intelligent edge, we do have products that actually do all these different things, right? We do have industrial grade storage product that helps us to store this data reliably in the very harsh environment. And then at the same time, we also have low power devices or low power memory to ensure that we don't consume too much power when we do processing at the edge. And then last but not least, on the extreme right, we do have something that Micron provide. We call the Authenta Flash. So when you have something that's sitting far at the edge, right, whereby it's something that your IT department will not be able to access to. It could be an offshore oil rig, for example. So security is very important. So that's the reason why Micron has this Authenta Flash. This actually is a hardened security flash memory, whereby hacking can be prevented through this authentication. So this result, we provide very fast memory and then also very secure memory for all the various applications that you see in the market today. And then the next changing trend I'd like to share with everybody is about the I/O pattern. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the data center or the enterprise environment. Customers always talk about their workload requirement. So typically they tell you that, oh yes, my workload requirement is 4:1. So which means that it's like 25% write, 75% read. So this is quite a typical data center environment whereby a data will be written maybe 25% of the time, and then it will be processed 75% of the time. This is quite common looking at a lot of way data is being processed traditionally, right? For example, when a new online order is placed in your systems, and then maybe customer might be making some changes, or your warehouse department might be making some update to the same data. So that contribute to about 25% of writing. And then the rest of the 75% will be for reading, right? To maybe a customer reading the order they have placed to see whether has the status changed, has the data, has product being shipped. So these are all the reading activities, very typical in the data center environment. But as the world advances to AI, things has changed. Why? Because the AI has a very different pattern today. From our analysis, it's about 5,000 to 1. So what does this mean? Which means that the environment today that's AI-centric no longer require the very stringent type of 4:1 requirement. As a result, yes, endurance is still very important for SSD, but it's not as important as it used to be. And here's the reason why. Put it very simply. When you place order today, the order transaction will be captured. And then when you place the next order, you will be captured. But rarely do you change these orders after it's being placed, right? However, as a provider of e-commerce, your interest is to analyze these past patterns, right? To analyze what kind of product your customer placed, when did he place it, how much did he pay for it, right? It's all about analysis. So there's more read than writing. So that's the reason why the I/O pattern moving forward will be more towards like 5,000 to 1. You tend to write a data one time, but you read many times for analysis or maybe for future inferences. So with this change, definitely yes, when you speak to customers, they might be asking for a lot of endurance, but you can convince them that the world has changed. Having endurance is necessary in the past, but with today's workload, people are less and less reliant on endurance because the usage pattern has changed a lot. So we also have done some analysis regarding AI, right? So one of the things that people do today is to do a lot of analysis on past data. So via machine learning, right? So this is one very typical application that we see on machine learning. So for example, so this, I'm sure you are familiar with TensorFlow. It's actually a very popular framework used for machine learning. So this particular example is called the TensorFlow image recognition. So it actually looks at the data that images that's created, you ingest it, and then do classification. So you look at this research that we've done. So for example, on the left-hand side, you start with 1,000 images all the way to 100,000 images. And then the middle one, data here will show you the data size, right? How much data is being analyzed all together. And by analyzing and categorizing what kind of data it is it a car, is it an object, is it a pet, or is it an animal? So all these things require time. So we did analysis comparing the time required to do completions versus from hard disk versus SSD. So by using our 5210, which is slated to replace hard disk, we realized that there's a lot of performance improvement in terms of how fast we could actually complete. So on an average, right, based on different workload, different sizes, we realized that we can achieve as much as 8 times faster learning compared to the traditional hard disk. So all this is actually very important because time is very critical in today's landscape. As a result, you are actually maximizing your customer IT budget by convincing them to move from hard disk to SSD. So by a slightly more investment, they get 8x more learning capability, whereby they can actually do a lot of work in a shorter time. So this is a very strong proof point that time is money. A customer can do a lot and quicker work with this investment. So as a result, on all the key learning that we see here is that the more work that they do, the more time they can save. This is actually a compounded problem. One-time investment, but it's a constant benefit. And then the more data set they have, I think the more time saving that they could do. So as a result, I think definitely, I think that this is a very strong and valid proposition that we can take to our customers and share with them how by doing a different investment upfront, they can actually reap a lot of benefit on an ongoing basis. And then allow me to share with you a real case study working with customers around the world. So in Singapore, we have a very large SEO global company. They have decided to expand their data center in Singapore. So as a result, just like any other orders that you process, they call for RFP. So we talked to them about the content RFP, and then essentially they share with us the very typical challenges, right? So basically, it's all about rack rental. So they have how many? They have a rental space constraint, and then they have decided that they will be using racks with 2U servers, right? With the 2U servers, as we all know, there are limited amount of storage that could be housed into the 2U racks. So as a result, I think we kind of look at the requirement and what they could potentially do. So they have kind of decided that they will have a 2U server across all the racks. And then each of these 2U servers will have 24 bays to house NVMe storage. So they actually call out this RFP to all the traditional OEM that you could think of, right? The usual brand that you're familiar with. So at the same time, I think they also speak to Micron on, and then we propose to them that, well, there are a few ways they can look at it, right? They could choose to buy everything from the OEMs, right? That means all the drive bay fully populated, or they could also consider a hybrid solutions, right? Whereby they can use the and purchase the base configuration from the OEMs, and then they can do a hybrid solution by populating those empty bays with Micron storage. So they evaluated, and then we created a POC around that. So and then they did some analysis. They did some kind of performance testing at the same time. They also look at the cost analysis. So eventually they decided to go ahead with a hybrid model, which means that they buy all the base and necessary configurations from the OEM, and then they bought the the drive separately from Micron. So this amounted to a total revenue of almost $6 million just on the drive purchase from Micron. So this is a typical kind of a solution that we deploy with very large customers today. So there's something that you could address, because this is all about maximizing value. Because in this case, this is actually a brand new purchase. But a lot of times we can also look at post-purchase upgrade, right? Because sometimes you realize that a lot of customers may have existing empty base that they have done in their previous purchase. So for example, maybe it could be a case whereby a customer may have bought a fully configured NVMe based storage, maybe at the time of purchase, due to cost, maybe they only purchase a small size or maybe 512 gigabyte of space. But today, as you know, due to technology advancement, they have actually we have storage available to as much as 15.36 terabyte, right? So by doing the proper analysis, doing at the power budget to see how much power available to that rack, to that server, we can often look at some kind of upgrade opportunity. So there's various ways that we can actually do to help customer maximize their investment. It could be a brand new investment, or it could be an investment they have made a number of years ago. So these are various ways we can actually help customer to either extend the life of their previous investment, or perhaps make their new investment more higher cost performance. So we will switch here a little bit and then to talk to you a little bit about more about the kind of solution that Micron can offer to your customers. So I think in a nutshell, what we are trying to do here is to remove the guesswork, because a lot of times, a lot of things that go through your mind is, does it work? Will it work? Or is it compatible? So what we have done is basically to make things easy for you to when you propose solution to your customers. But before we do that, we also want to equip you with some knowledge about the trends, how the interconnect is changing today. So on the left-hand side, you could see that this is the trend by the total size deployed. Without any surprise, you already know that the trend for NVMe in the data center has way surpassed the trend for SATA, right? Since the year 2019, you can see NVMe outship SATA in the data center environment, and it's continuing to grow. The reason is very simple, right? So what is the main attribute behind data centers? They need a lot of high performance storage and very efficient throughput and low latency. And unfortunately, SATA is more than 20 years. It's a very old technology designed for hard disk. There's no way SATA is able to deliver that kind of performance and latency benefit. That's the reason why data centers customers have long switched away from SATA and moved to the NVMe offerings. So this addresses the bandwidth and latency requirement. But then you might ask, so why is SATA still there? Well, there's still a lot of data legacy system in the market today, or whereby customer may still want to have that kind of legacy and maintain kind of legacy infrastructure, or maybe customer may be very price sensitive in that segment, so and then they may not need that kind of throughput in the system. So that's the reason why they will still stick to the SATA. But as you can see, it's actually slowly decreasing in terms of demand. Then on the other side, you also addresses the other type of requirement, which is the consumer-based SSD. Right, these are typically SSD used in notebooks or desktops, and the trend is also changing. We expect this year NVMe will surpass SATA in terms of the shipment gigabit mix. And it's very simple, right? So today, more and more people are using notebook devices versus desktop, especially the trend behind work from home, right? Definitely a notebook is a lot easier for you to move to a work from home mode versus try to lug the desktop from your office to your home. So all these trends changing. So there's reason why there's uptick in terms of notebook purchases. And then in the notebook perspective, efficiency is very important too, right? Because we know that NVMe designed ground up to be energy efficient and a lot more bandwidth friendly. So that's the reason why by moving to NVMe becomes a very strong value proposition, that your processors can complete the job quicker and at the same time save more power, and then your notebook will run cooler, right? So this is actually very, very important aspect behind why users are moving towards NVMe. So we expect this trend to continue to fuel the growth in consumer NVMe demand moving forward, and having SATA to remain, but with smaller share, because ultimately SATA, although it's old and dated technology, it still has its position in terms of as a very cost-effective access to non-volatile storage such as SSD. So and then to actually make the selling a lot easier for all of you, as I mentioned earlier about removing the guesswork. So this is a suite of solution that Micron has created working with the ISV and the hardware vendors to do the necessary certifications. So all you can see here is that these are the sample of a solution that you're able to speak to your customers if they have a specific requirement around all these areas featured here. So for example, if you have a customer using VMware to create a virtual storage, such as vSAN, so you can basically talk to them about this configuration of NVMe and SATA offerings that we have created and certified by VMware, so that they can immediately look at using the server offerings that you have, putting all this together, and then actually deliver the kind of solutions in to their data center environment. At the same time, we have also make it easier, because sometimes the easiest way is to basically lead customer towards a POC or proof of concept, right? By having them to buy the hardware or lend them hardware for them to create environment and do the testing. But what we have done in the back is also to create a POC at the back end, which means that all these different solutions, other than this one pager that you have, it also comes with a very detailed what we call RA, or reference architecture. Inside the reference architecture, we will have information like the configuration, how many drive did we do, and what's performance you can expect of the solutions. So all this guesswork is actually being removed, and all this kind of offerings and all this kind of benefit will be immediately available that you can share with your customer right away. So this makes the entire engagement a lot easier. So of course, other than the traditional enterprise storage, we also have those storage for objects, such as the SAS storage, and then we also have some kind of deep learning with NVIDIA, and then some of the emerging storage solution that you can see in this picture. So definitely it's something that you'll be able to download from our website and make it available when you do a sales pitch to your potential prospect. So next, I'll just talk a little bit about the quick summary about offerings, something that you are probably familiar with. So first, I'll start with data centers. So for the data centers, we have very simple lineup. So on the top, we have the NVMe. So NVMe, we have two lineup. The 9000 series will be our fastest series. In fact, the fastest Gen 3 offerings. We almost maxed out the bandwidth capability and are able to deliver almost 3.5 gigabyte of rewrite performance with this drive. And then we also have the 7 series, which is very energy efficient. We only consume about 9 to 10 watt of power in the data center environment. So this is actually very important. Remember when I mentioned about the post purchase upgrade earlier? Sometimes the upgrade consideration is not just about how many slots your customer have, it's how much power is a box able to supply. So a lot of times by going for the high performance drive, a lot of time customers realize that they don't have enough power to put so many drives. Then you can definitely recommend them the 7000 series. It offers mainstream performance at a very low power envelope. So this allows them to be able to upgrade their servers within the power budget allocated. Then of course you have customer looking for very low cost and cost effective solution. We do have our SATA family for the data centers. In fact, this is our third generation today that we offer into the SATA market. We have capacity up to 8 terabyte, and we also in the process of launching our next generation of this SATA offering. So it continues to support both the NVMe and SATA offerings for the data center market. And then last but not least, we do have this very unique product called the 5210. So 5210 is a product that we have launched for the enterprise market. And the intent of this product is very simple. It's to replace HDD. You look at a trend that you have been seeing in the HDD development, there isn't a lot of new changes, right? Because the bottleneck is really on the SATA, right? SATA is the single bottleneck that you will see in the hard disk market. Yes, they tried to introduce 15,000 drive in the early days, but we know that 15,000 drive is too power hungry, and slowly a lot of vendors in the world has already EOL 15,000 drive. Then you have the 10K RPM, and then you have the something they call it the dual actuator, HDD. Yes, this does solve some problem, but it cannot solve the energy consumption in the data centers, which is very critical. We are very confident that this 5210 is a very unique product for your customer to consider if they still want to go with the enterprise SSD route, because we have a much better QoS and better performance and a lot more energy efficient compared to any HDD offerings in the market today. So this is a perfect solution when a customer is still looking at HDD purchase. Do share with them the 5210 product. This is the single most cost-effective solution that Micron has to displace the any HDD purchase. Now will be something on the consumer lineup. So something that we're very familiar with, which is the MX family. This is our storage families for the notebook upgrade, and then we also have one offerings for the very cost-conscious entry notebook upgrades made available today. And then on this particular page, one thing to highlight is that for the MX500, it comes with a hardware-based encryptions. So this is actually very important. If you have customers in the financial, for example, environment, they are very afraid of stolen notebook or data loss. So this MX500 comes with hardware encryptions, which means that by the drive itself, the drive will be able to encrypt the data by itself without any additional or without consuming any additional CPU cycle. So this is actually very effective in the sense that it's self-driven, self-encryption. It's very useful feature for you to promote customers who is sensitive about data security. So, so it's something that we will be able to actually offer to customers who still considering a SATA-based upgrade. If you have customers looking for more energy efficient, more better performance, we now have two offerings in the NVMe family. The P5 will basically be here to offer us two unique feature, whereby we have unique write accelerations to improve performance as the drive ages. And then at the same time, we also have a similar feature like you saw in the MX family, a full drive hardware-based encryptions compliant to the OPPO 2.0 standard. So this again will provide very good securities for secure security-conscious customers. And then also we also address the very mainstream and entry customers who just want good enough NVMe storage. We address this marketplace with the M2 offerings. So all these both products are available in M.2 form factors all the way up to 2 terabyte. And then the next and the last portion that I would like to share is a little bit more about a new portal that we have launched. It's called Micron for Business. So as you can see here, we have a URL here whereby you can click, and then it will bring you to our new website. This is actually a new portal designed for a partner like yourself, addressing the business needs by all your IT, procurement managers, and all the various enterprise customers that you have. So this portal will be more business-centric in the sense that we will address the commercial needs of products. So by coming to this website and registering to be a partner, you'll be able to access to a lot of information that help you to do recommendation, or for example, the reference architecture I mentioned to you earlier, you'll be able to download, and then you'll be able to come to this website to look at compatibility information. So to give you an example, if you were to come to this website under the selector, you'll be able to come to a server configurator like this, right? On the bottom right, this configurator will tell you what type of server you have, and then what kind of model and how many slots is available. And then you can do a simple filtering to allow you to see what kind of proposal or what kind of memory modules are you able to propose your customers for upgrade. So we make it more business friendly and then more commercial customer centric, so that we'll be able to quickly and confidently recommend something to our commercial customer over here. So this is something that we have just recently introduced. I hope that all of you can actually follow this microncpg.com web link and then sign up as a partner, so they will be able to share with you more commercial and enterprise-related information as it becomes available. So with this, I will pass back to Janice for the Q&A sessions. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, CG, for sharing all those information with us today in regards about Micron and Micron Enterprise and also the client range of the products. And then now we are going to unmute every of our audience. So please feel free to raise your questions by either unmute yourself and also by keying the orders into the question box. Every single question you raise will have our Micron polo shirt for you. Just say thank you and appreciation for attending our webinar today. So we have, CJ, we have one reseller already have a question for you. Would you able to help us to advise? The question is, you know, those different models we have. For example, we have the old models like a 5200. Now we have the new 5300s. So our client's question from Amido is there any significant differences in wear between the old 5200 series and the new models?
Okay, yes, I think to answer the question is quite straightforward. So essentially, you look at the modifier behind our products, right? So for example, for 51, 52 to 53 transitions, we will transition that in terms of the similar level performance and then similar level latency. And as far as endurance is concerned, we address that using what we call the modifier. So for example, if you purchase something that is actually a PRO Pro with a Pro modifier, which means that you will be able to have endurance up to about one drive view per day, so 1 DWPD. So this is the same naming convention, be the 52 or the 53. As long as you look at the correct modifier, you will be able to do that. Then if customers want higher endurance, then you can definitely offer them the Max series, which have endurance between 1 to 3 drive view per day. So this is a differentiator and it's unique across the offerings. And at the same time, we do understand that, as I mentioned earlier, endurance was very important in the past, but it's not as important as it is today. So to do that, we also have a very new modifier that we introduced with our 5210 offering. The modifier is ION or ION. So ION is a modifier, basically it means that the drive view per day is less than 1. And these are the typical type of recommendation that for product that you can actually recommend to customers who doesn't need a lot of endurance, because there's not a lot of overriding. So give you an example, it could be a customer who do a streaming business, right? Let's say when they do streaming business, like on a rental basis. So like for example, video streaming. So a lot of times after the video content is being written to the drive, it hardly get overwritten, right? It's more for more reading. And then also for customers who do archival. So for archival, you definitely don't need to rewrite the data or overwrite the data, right? So endurance is not so important. So this is basically the areas that will be suitable for that. So by looking at the modifier, you'll be able to have the sense that you'll be able to get the same endurance across the series that we offer.
Oh, very clear. Thank you for that. Actually, in our enterprise SSD pricing list, we will list all the individual spec with models which is read-centric or mixed use or write-centric. So that will also help you to using the usage to choose the right models when using it. Especially also we highlight those endurance at the same time in our pricing list, which we will share with you with our team. So I have another question for you, Seiji there. Client is also Alan asking about 93 series, whether they are available or not. I know they're available because we already ordered.
Yes, definitely. I think thanks for helping me to answer that. Yes, it's available worldwide. I think we have been shipping this product for a while already, and it's very popular, especially for customers who want a lot of performance, who right performance especially. So very suitable for the enterprise data centers and very right-centric market.
Thank you for that. Now, we have a very important question for you regarding the warranty, especially for my enterprise grade. So what is the warranties for the SSD drive, please, for those enterprise grade? We'll start from 50 to 10.
Okay.
50 to
So,
5 to 10.
Sure. So all the enterprise drive that we ship from Micron, they all carries a 5-year warranty. So this is basically a very basic requirement that is needed by all the enterprise customers worldwide. And then on the crucial side, with the exception of BX500, all the crucial consumer drive also comes with 5 years warranty, whereas the BX500 comes with 3 years warranty because it's really targeting at a very entry level type of users and customers.
Okay, so actually we are having 3-year warranty for the BX, and the balance we are all having 5-year warranty, right? Including MX500.
Yep.
This question from Noel, actually I don't know the answer myself. I need your help. So do you have NVMe riser cards that can be used to add more VME?
Okay, so currently because we are not the adapter or interconnect company. However, we have customers successfully used a lot of third-party adapters that helps them to increase the storage capability on some traditional server. So, for example, there are a few things that they do. One of the very common one is that because as you know, Micron NVMe drives are all in U.2 or the M.2 form factors. So we do have customers who use adapter cards that converts the U.2 or M.2 into the PCIe slot or via riser, so that they can add storage expansion to their traditional server. And then also we also work with the NAS provider like Synology and QNAP, whereby we get our drives certified on their riser, those kind of add-on adapters, right? Whereby they could actually have maybe 2 pieces of M.2 NVMe drives connect to their interconnect cards, and then allows their existing NAS customers to upgrade storage for more, I think, with more NVMe capability. So these are some of the solutions that we have worked with, and we also seen some customers deploying that.
Thank you for that. So any other audience who have questions, please help to either unmute yourself and or type in your questions in the question box so that we have CG to help us to to know the answers. Okay, so if no more questions, maybe we do some fun parts. We are going to do a very small quiz for. Thank you. Oh yeah. We do a fun part. We do a small quiz. And then this quiz is having 5 questions, and whoever answered the question most correctly in the fastest speed, you will have the awards. So the prizes are: the first winner is having the Micron X8 500 GB external SSD, and the other 4 winners is going to have $50 gift cards. So we have 5 prizes, and the fastest answer with the most correct questions will have the prize, and we will announce the winners tomorrow in the social media. CG, let's start.
Okay, let me try to get the question out and I'll read to you. So I think the first question will be, so can you see my screen right now? Okay, the poll is open. So according to the research report, essentially it's from IDC, so worldwide data generation will hit 100 zettabyte in 1 year. So there are 5 choices here. So please do your poll, and then the fastest person to get the right answer will be counted for the prize winning. So let's give a number more second to the audience before I close the poll. 10 more seconds.
60% voted already. Keep on, please. Don't give up. 67% now. We give.
So give up to a minute, then
70%
before we stop. Yeah.
Almost there. Next.
Okay, I'll close the poll, and the correct answer is 2023. So if you got it right, congratulations.
We have 41% correct. Everybody is listening to your presentations today.
Thank you for your attention. And then going to my next question is about the changing I/O pattern, right? In my presentation, I talk about I/O pattern has changed due to AI, and which is the ratio that has changed as far as the due to the advancement of AI. This looks like easy questions because I see a lot of people reaching or have answered the question already.
Actually, majority of us are correct. Have the correct answer. We can see it here.
Right, it's a simple question, so I will proceed to close the poll. And the correct answer is 5,000 to 1. I'm sure a lot of you got it right. It's very simple because when it comes to AI, it's a lot about learning of historical data. So we don't really need to know endurance because the data that's written rarely get deleted. So going to the third question now. So it's also AI related. So the question is when we deploy SSD into the deep learning, how much speed up does it get versus the traditional HDD?
I think every one of us going to get some prizes because looks like majority of us answer correctly.
Yeah, maybe the question is too easy, but anyway, thanks for paying attention. Definitely, I think most of you got the right answer, and the answer is 8x. So definitely, I think with all this deep learning, be able to retrieve data quickly is very important, right? It's all based on historical data. Yep. That's the reason why SSD can easily achieve up to 8x improvement in terms of workload such as deep learning. So thank you if you got the right answer. So then we'll move on to the next question. That will be the question number 4. So this actually is revolving around our product offering. So the question is, what is the largest size of our ME drives that Micron has launched? Are you able to do that?
Yeah, sorry. Just stop here. We cannot see the questions.
Yeah. I think.
Okay.
I believe.
Yep.
Yes.
Can
Okay.
all of us see in the quick poll? Okay, good. Sorry to interrupt. Can CG please continue?
I think there's a problem here. I'm afraid there was a voting recorded. Are we able to restart this particular question, or?
We just continue. Should be all okay.
Sure. Then we will do the next question, which is the last one.
Let's see the option here. It's only the restart.
Oh.
You want to restart, or do we?
We may have to.
Okay.
Not the restart. We should show the question.
Actually, CG, we may have to restart because we cannot choose.
Yes. The correct. Yeah, you can't choose because you had to restart.
It's closed. Yes. Can we go last one? Skip the others.
Okay, we skip this one. Let's go to the last one.
Correct.
The last one will be quite simple. So let me launch the question. It's actually regarding the solution that we offered. So which of the following is not a solution that Micron has on our reference architecture?
Wow, everybody answer your question so fast. But this one actually very interesting. There is 50-50. So not sure the correct answer will go to which part. Maybe it's changing now. Well, 83% people answered the questions already.
Looks like a lot of people got the question correct. Just give it a few more seconds.
A lot of people getting correct.
Yeah, I will close the poll in 5 seconds. And yes, I think most of you got the right answer. The solution that's not in our reference architecture is Microsoft SQL database. We currently do not have a solution revolving that particular database.
Okay.
So with this, I think that is actually the last question that we have for today, and I will let the Blue Chip team tabulate the winning score, and then they will share with all of you the winning resellers tomorrow.
So everyone, thank you so much for joining our Blue Chip Micron webinar today. And thank you so much for CG to becoming our guest host today to present such a nice informative piece in regards about the Maximise IT budgets for our customers. And then also highlights all the, the SSDs and the features, the speed, the benefit by over the hard disk drives. And then also thank you for everyone, and then to join our quiz, and we will announce the winner tomorrow in our social media. And all the people who raised the questions in our webinar will also get our Micron polo shirts. And thanks again for your attending today. Keep in contact, and please feel free to reach our sales team at any time.
On behalf of Micron, I also like to thank Blue Chip and everyone for attending the session today. Hope it's useful for all of you, and thank you for all your support today. Thank you.